Hello guys, welcome back. So I wanted to talk to you guys about something. I'm doing this tonight before. Um, I have noticed that when you finally figure out who your main gods are, at least this is what Odin indicated to me. Um, my main gods are Odin and Loki. We all know that. I take after both of them to a frightening degree. And lately, I've been having this thing where it's completely out of my nature. It usually is because I am usually a pushover. I default to them, right? They usually walk all over me. Where I've been trying to push them out of the way and go do manifesting on my own. And they're in my way and they're dragging me down. And I'm seeing stuff very out of character for myself because, family first for me. And it's very uncharacteristic of me to want to push those two away from me and go get things on my own. And I've been thinking for the last year or so as I've been working with this, is this a faith thing? Is this a trust thing? And Odin just looked at me today and he goes, "You're greedy, my dear, just like us. Why do you think we picked you?" And I said, "What?" And I got the idea that the gods pick people with character traits like they have. And he goes, "Yeah, you do have greed as a character trait. In fact, I don't see it. You usually don't see your main character trait, your main character flaw, whatever you want to call it, but I've been told I'm a very greedy person, and I'm like, I personally don't see it, but I think I deny myself all the time, but according to other people, they're like, you're greedy, and I'm like, I truly don't see it. I don't. If I'm greedy, okay, I'll live with that, but I don't see it in myself. I really don't. And he's like, that's why we resonate with you because a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And I said, that's not greedy, that's just fun. He goes, yeah, you call greed fun. He said, that's the exact definition. A little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And I sometimes the catch on that is that, like, when we're planning an event or something, one of us has to be sensible, and like all three of us are greedy, and we're like, oh, we need this and we need that. And if you let us go, we'll plan a party for 40 people and there will be like one guest. But, if you let us go, we will do that. And we will just keep going and going and going because it makes sense at the time. And then, the day of the party, there will be like so much stuff. And for me, I'm probably thinking back to the days of my childhood when you had to plan for the four people that were my immediate family, and then you had to plan for all the relatives coming. So you had to plan for 20, 40 people. So every so often, especially if I'm tired or stressed, if I cook, I will like cook like a ton of food just on automatic. And then I'll look at it and I'll be like, there are 20 people coming to dinner. And, it doesn't happen much anymore. But like I've noticed I'll do it. I took me years, once it was just me, to not cook automatically a whole turkey at Thanksgiving or something because I was like just so used to doing that. I didn't know any other way to do it. And you know how incredibly hard it is to go from cooking a whole turkey to just cooking a little bit because it doesn't feel like you're doing as much as you should. And to go from cooking 12 sides to like nothing, and it's really hard to do to put on those breaks. But I used to cook for 2 or 3 days before Thanksgiving just to get it all done. And, like at the end, it was just my mom and I, and my grandmother hanging on forever, evil woman. And I would cook for like 2 or 3 days. I cook the turkey and the mashed potatoes and all this other stuff. So, it's like if I do have greed as a trait, I think that's part of where my greed comes from. I'm just so used to making so much food for so many people, and at the time, I still had it in the back of my head, even though my dad passed and my brother wasn't, anywhere around, that I had to cook for them, and then I had to be ready for these other relatives that were also dead to drop by. So it was like the most surreal thing. I'd cook these huge meals. And Odin has been watching Loki and I with amusement. I went up today and I got the soda because I've been feeling down, I've been feeling tired, and I noticed that if every so often I have some soda, specifically Coke or Pepsi, nothing else seems to quite hit the spot. And it's not just the caffeine and sugar, because I can try making, really hyper sweet coffee and it doesn't do the same thing. I said, it seems to kickstart me and then I can go for a while and then I need some more again. Seems like, you know, whatever, whatever. And I brought it home and I said, "You're going to kill me." And he says, "What?" I said, "I'm just so tired of walking out. I don't feel like walking out anymore. Would you be really, really mad if I save what I got, like for now? If I save that for the day of?" And he looks at me because Loki and I have been stockpiling, and Odin hasn't said a damn thing. Odin's just there with his arms crossed. And Loki and I stockpiled without realizing it. He goes, "How many earthly people are here?" "One." Exactly what do you expect us to do? Teleport stuff out of this house?" "No, why?" "Look at how much stuff you have, my dear." And then I'm like, Loki and I are looking at it, and the hugs had come in damage, so we really weren't counting that. We have stuff stockpiled, and we're looking at all the stuff, and we're like, how did we do that? How did we stockpile so much stuff? And it was like a little bit at a time, and a little bit at a time, and a little tucked in an order here, and a little tucked in an order there. And we're just looking at all this stuff, and I said, with me, it's partly I have 1, 2 strokes we know of, so I will buy stuff for kids and then go out and buy more. And then the day of comes, and we're gonna be. I told Loki, I said we're gonna be like looking at the ceiling. It's not that much, but I said we're gonna be like looking up towards the sky, and there's just gonna be these piles of stuff. It's nowhere near that much, but I said, we really stockpiled, buddy. What's going to happen? Like the end of the world's coming on my birthday too. And we just looked at each other and we kind of went, maybe Odin hasn't figured it out yet. And Odin figured it out. And Odin's like, "Come here, both of you." And he took us through everything. And the thing was, some of it I bought as groceries, and then Loki and looked at each other and we said, "We'll put it aside. We'll put it aside. We'll have it like day of." We've got Scooby snacks because they make those. We've got Pokemon treats. We've got like all this stuff. And I looked at him. I said, we transmogrified some grocery orders into party food. And we've been eating noodles and stuff like that. And we've been perfectly happy because then the day of the party, we can just go crazy. And Odin said, "You'll die if you try to eat all that. We'll be taking you to the hospital." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And I don't know why we did it. It's very uncharacteristic for me. Usually I don't do a damn thing for my birthday, but this year, Loki got involved. But, to bring that full circle, Odin's like, you have it as a characteristic. Some people don't see greed as a bad thing. They see greed as a good thing because at least it means, we all have it to a certain extent. We all want to be that kid in the candy store. We all want to wake up someday in our life, whatever day would be special to us, and just see oodles of stuff. We all have this fantasy in our head. We know we do. We have this fantasy in our head of all these oodles of stuff we want to see. And even if we got all those oodles of stuff, we could turn around right after that and go, because there wasn't even more. We're all a little bit greedy. It's a gift our ancestors gave to us. Use it well. And I go, yeah. And anyhow, Loki had one of those aliens. And did I tell you they may or may not arrive tomorrow? I don't know. I don't know. They're in the nearest big city, and I don't know if they're still moving tonight or if they'll move tomorrow morning, which means they would get to the local hub sometime tomorrow, hopefully. And then they will probably get there too late to get here tomorrow, so maybe Thursday. I don't know. They probably will arrive Friday. If the post office says it's coming Friday, it probably will. But I was like, we went from Monday, which is where they originally estimated it would come when I ordered it Sunday, to Friday, so it jumped up a couple of days. If it arrives Wednesday, that is lightning fast, and that is some Odin level stuff. And Odin said, "If these arrive tomorrow, will you promise me? Will you promise me you will let go of trying to toddle off on your own and do this manifestation on your own? Do all the manifestation you want, but we're coming with you." And he gave me like this mental image that they felt like parents in this huge mall, and I'm like this tiny little kid, and not even showing me and them. He's showing like two parents and like a tiny little toddler. And the tiny toddler is crying and being like, I want to do it on my own. And it's just something you would not let a toddler do. And the parents are like, oh, honey, you can't do this on your own. Honey, sweetheart, let's do it. And the toddler's screaming and wants to do it on their own. And there are plenty of things you wouldn't let a toddler do on their own, like drive a car, operate heavy machinery. You just wouldn't let them do that. And whatever it is, it involves looking through this huge fun mall, but the toddler just has to stop for 30 seconds and let the parents make them safe, or whatever it is, like buckle on a belt in a cart, or whatever it is that they got to do for the kid. And the kid don't want to let them do it. When kids do it, and I still have a memory of doing it as a child myself. I couldn't zipper up a jacket. I refused to let any of the adults help me, even though I was crying my eyes out, because I wanted to do it on my own and I just didn't have the skills. I don't know why, I just didn't, and I was absolutely heartbroken, as children are. He's showing me this kid throwing a fit and, not able to like buckle this seat thing in this cart. And the parents can't move the kid forward until he's buckled, and they want to do it, but the kid won't let them do it, and you know how kids get. So it's like you're not moving forward until you let us help. And once you let us help, then you will move forward. Then you will get these things. And it was kind of like, I think, I don't know if I said this attempt, I think the incident at the gas station, in case you're watching this, is a standalone video. They were selling these medicinal gummies, and I did not get any because I have a very strong tendency to get way too involved with stuff. And I think this was his reward. And I said, where would I have been, if I had gone down that road? And he's like, it wouldn't have ended well. And off and on tonight, the curious little monkey in my brain was like, I could go back. I could go back. And I'm like, no, that's a warning sign. That's a warning sign. When I want to go towards something, that's a warning sign. And I'm like, no, for that $9, I could go to the top of the hill, get 9 bags of actual candy, and have a pig out fest. Get like 3 bags of candy, say, get 3 bags of chips, get 3 sodas, or like a soda and 2 candy bars, and just be like, ugh, at the end of the day. But for my $9, I know where I'm going, Toddlerland, to go get all the junk food. But I hope that made some remote sense. But it feels like I'm getting kind of this idea of all this stuff I'm watching and all the stuff we're doing to prepare for the June disclosure. Of course, we know the governments aren't going to say, sure, there are aliens here. They're going to give us some kind of song and dance, and they're not going to admit anything. I'm getting the idea that we all know, and we don't want to know. It's like, you see it every day, and yet you choose not to see it. I'm like, this is starting to sound like an episode of Doctor Who or something. Like, they're invisible? What are you saying? And it's just like, I think we all know, but we don't want to know. I think we do, like, whether it's UFOs, or it's Bigfoot, or it's the good folk, or it's the gods, or it's time travel, or whatever you want to talk about. I think we all know, and we don't want to know. I think that's it. And, a lot of people would have different conclusions. Some people will be, well, I think all of that's nonsense. And some people will be like, aha, because I know, because I had X, Y, or Z happen. I've definitely had a ton of unexplainable stuff happen in my life, but I've no really idea. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.